Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Real Clear Politics Takeaway for Tuesday, June 1st, 2021. I am Tom Bevan, co-founder and president of Real Clear Politics, joined this morning by Phil Wegmann, our White House reporter. Good morning, Phil.
Good morning, Tom.
So, Phil, let's talk about what's going on in Washington. It's infrastructure week, maybe not. Will there be a deal, and what is the latest on what's going on with infrastructure on the Hill?
So on Wednesday, just announced you're going to have a delegation of Senate Republicans led by West Virginia Senator Capito head to the White House and continue to have negotiations with President Biden over the top line numbers for his infrastructure bill. Remember, this started in the neighborhood of $2 trillion. Now it's around about $1.7 trillion. Meanwhile, McConnell and Senate Republicans, they've sort of dug their heels in and said that they would support a package which is much smaller, worth $800 billion. It's smaller in terms of comparison, but again, this is a big pile of cash. If any of these options gets to the finish line, the United States is going to have a historic investment in infrastructure, and you better believe that regardless of how the sausage is made, Democrats are going to take credit for the final product.
So there are two pieces to this, right? There is deciding on, okay, what is infrastructure and what are we willing to fund, right? Republicans have been saying it's airports, roads, and bridges, but they've come sort of moved in Biden's direction by saying, okay, it's, we'll fund water and broadband and some of those things and increase their number. But then the second piece of this, so assuming they can get to some sort of agreement on that, right? Then the second piece of this is how is it going to get paid for? And that is also a bit of a sticky point. Obviously, Biden and the Democrats want to raise taxes. How many Republicans are going to go along with raising taxes to pass this thing? Or is that going to be ultimately what dooms this if it doesn't pass?
Well, the other option is user fees, and that's something that some Republicans have backed, but that's not necessarily very popular either. The Democrat argument here is that they want to increase rates to 25%, which is where it was during the Bush administration. All of these little fights that are bullet points in the larger episode of infrastructure are all going to add up to one question being answered, and that is whether or not Joe Biden can be a big government and yet bipartisan sort of second coming of FDR, or if at the end of the day he's going to say, I tried to negotiate with you in good faith, I'm just going to have to do this through Senate budget reconciliation. I think that there are plenty of members of the administration who would rather have the White House run roughshod over Senate Republicans. But look, I think that there's part of Biden who is the son of the Senate who still thinks that he can hammer out a deal. And that's what he wants. He doesn't just want to pass everything by party line vote.
That was going to be my next question, because you had Pete Buttigieg over the weekend saying, look, time's running out. We need some clear direction. I mean, there does seem to be some building enthusiasm for just doing this, jamming it through on a party line vote, budget reconciliation. But you'd have to have Joe Manchin on board for that at least. What are the odds that that's how this works out, Phil?
Well, first of all, I just want to note that I still think it's very funny that even the transportation secretary, Pete Buttigieg, for him to say it's time for Republicans to actually do something, for him to draw any kind of red line is still funny for me, because he is the former mayor of South Bend, Indiana. That's like the second most powerful person in South Bend, second to the president of Notre Dame. He was dealing with a budget of like hundreds of millions of dollars in that city. Now he's talking about $1 trillion infrastructure package. I mean, it's just pretty funny to me, especially when for a short second, when he was a candidate for president, he was talking to Real Clear Politics about, fiscal discipline. But yes, the administration wants to get something done. But no, I don't think that the administration is going to count on Joe Manchin. I've heard Joe Manchin described to me by, different senators as sort of a purple unicorn. He's there for a moment, but when you meet him, he's completely disappeared. I don't think Republicans or Democrats are going to be hinging their plans on Joe Manchin, even though this administration has done everything to court him. He's still, at least for now, sort of a question mark, I think.
All right, we will leave it there for this morning. I'm Tom Bevan, co-founder and president of Real Clear Politics.
I'm Philip Wegmann, White House reporter for Real Clear Politics. This has been the RCP Takeaway for June 1st, 2021.